Patch 1.1 has just been released for Stalker 2, and it's described as a major patch, with over 1,800 fixes and what they call adjustments, and includes the first iteration of A-Life fixes. If you're one of the people that actually stopped playing and is waiting for the A-Life system to be fixed, this might be the patch that actually draws you back in. They've released a message and it begins, "Happy holidays, Stalkers. Just before Christmas and New Year's, we are ready to present patch 1.1. It is the first major patch for Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, and it will address over 1,800 issues, including the first iteration of the A-Life fixes. We understand that the size of the patch is huge, and it's been updating a while for me, and the process of downloading will take some time. We would like to thank you for your understanding, and we will work on this aspect as well, so let's begin." They then list all of the fixes, beginning with the A-Life fixes, and these are the ones I'm most interested in. Fix the issue with spawning NPCs behind the player's back. This one is definitely welcome. Players can now encounter roaming NPCs across the zone more often. Greatly extended the distance at which A-Life NPCs are visible to the player. These two alone should make things feel a little more alive. Fixed the aggressive optimization issue that prevented A-Life NPCs to exist in offline, and they describe that as out of players' visualization range. In offline mode, A-Life will continue to advance towards their goals over time. Basically, just because an NPC is out of your line of sight, they will no longer just cease to have any sort of AI. They'll continue on with whatever they were doing, and hopefully this will give the zone a more, well, not just alive feeling, but a consistent, sensible feeling, so that if you see someone doing something and then you quickly go off and loot a stash and then go back to see what those people are doing, they're still there, they're still, pursuing their own goals. This is definitely going to help give the feeling that the zone is a living, breathing place. Players may now have opportunities to encounter A-Life NPCs they've previously met by following in the same direction as the NPCs. Pretty much what I was saying there. Improved A-Life NPCs navigation in offline using Game Graph, Global AI Navigation Map. Not completely sure what that means. Fixed multiple issues where NPCs would fail to follow or find a path to their designated goals. Fixed several issues with NPCs being stuck in online-offline transition state. I'm guessing this is what once they're out of sight or out of range of the player, they change state and they were getting stuck at this particular point. Enhanced A-Life NPCs' motivation to expand territory and actively attack enemies and mutants. Fixed issues that could result in fewer A-Life NPCs encountered than intended. Further contextual actions improvement to ensure seamless transitions between offline and online states for NPCs engaging in these actions. Kind of feels like a repetition of this one. The groups exploring the zone are now more diverse regarding possible factions and group sizes. Fixed issue that while roaming over the zone, human NPCs didn't satisfy their communication needs. And talks. And some other development related improvements. Oh, that's the rest of the improvements. Okay, there's a lot of words there, and some of it I definitely understood, and I can see immediately how that is going to change the experience. Some of it I'm going to have to wait and see. I'm going to have to get into game and see if the game now feels different. They've also listed quite a few AI improvements. So this must be AI outside of the A-Life system. And there are a lot of fixes. I'm not going to read all of them. There are some balance adjustments. I'm avoiding reading some of these when I start seeing names, etc., because I'm only about 20 hours in and I don't want spoilers. There's a bunch of crash fixes, performance and optimization tweaks. For example, they have investigated and improved the dead zones and curves for gamepad movement, aiming and camera controls for a more smooth and controllable experience using sticks on controller. I'm guessing a lot of you are going to be glad to see that. I will not get any benefit from that because I use mouse and keyboard, and even though I do have an analog keyboard that can imitate controller behavior, which is brilliant, unfortunately this game disables the mouse temporarily whenever it detects controller input, which means I cannot use my analog keyboard, which is a shame. We've got performance improvements in largely populated areas of the map, which is going to be appreciated, and they fix performance drops on the 3000 series of Nvidia cards when using FSR frame generation. There are a lot of other fixes and tweaks for performance optimization and crashes. I won't read them all, but it is good to see that they are fixing this sort of thing. There are fixes for cutscenes. There are fixes for the interactable objects. That is not an easy word to say. Interactable. Actually, it is an easy word. Just approach it carefully. This I'm avoiding. The mainline mission and story progression fixes. Because I'm only about 20 hours in, I'm at the second area. I think I'm close to finishing the second area. I don't want to know what bugs there are in future missions because I don't want to know what future missions there are. Same with the side missions. But as you can see, there's a long list of fixes. And there's some open world direction exploration and zone experience fixes as well. There are some fixes for the player gear, plenty of them. The one that grabbed my attention for ridiculous reasons is they have now added a splashing sound for bolts if they hit a water surface. I had not noticed that was a problem, but I'm glad they fixed it because now that they've mentioned it, I would have noticed it. And I'm going to be honest, I'm now looking forward to getting in game and throwing bolts at puddles just to test that out. A ton of fixes for player guidance, game settings and menus. We've got some achievement fixes, fixes related to the saves, and a bunch of other improvements and 500 other fixes for things like foliage, texture flickering, etc. If you really want the full details, go and read the patch notes whilst you're downloading the patch itself, but this is good to see. As to what effect it's going to have on the game, well, I'm at 49%, so I've got a little while before I can find that out. If you're following along with my Let's Play and you're wondering where this will occur, it will be about episode 29. I'm far enough ahead that I've got videos that will cover all the way into Christmas and the New Year. They will all be on patch 1.03. So really, until the New Year, you're not going to see the effect of any of these fixes. However, it is good that they're here, and hopefully they'll keep working on it, especially the A-Life fixes. I'm hoping they really do get that up and running exactly as they wanted it to run originally, as intended, so to speak. Because this really does go a long way to making the zone feel like a living, breathing organism. You know, this feeling that the zone has its own life, the people within it have their own lives, and you're just a small player on this big chessboard. I mean, granted, you're the main player, obviously, but, you know, you want that feeling that the world is not just been staged for you. You don't want NPCs just spawning randomly, feeling like they've just been put there to give you something to do. This is going to be a big first step forward in that direction. Hopefully, it will not be the last.